All right, today we are diving deep into a microscopic parasite that has a massive impact, Leishmania panamensis. And yeah, you guessed it from the name, it's a huge deal in Panama, but its territory stretches way farther than that. So let's get into it. So to kick things off, let me ask you this. What tiny parasite is out there causing these really distinctive volcano-shaped ulcers on people's skin and loves to hang out in the rainforests of the Americas? If nothing comes to mind, don't worry, you're definitely not alone. We're talking about a pretty overlooked but really formidable little organism. And here it is. This is the culprit, Leishmania panamensis. What you're seeing here are little clusters of the parasite in what's called its amastigote stage. This is the form it takes when it's hiding out inside a host's cells. In this picture, they've actually invaded a human macrophage, which is one of our own immune cells. It's a whole hidden world of infection, all happening at the cellular level. To really get a handle on this parasite, here's our game plan. We're going to start with its basic profile, then we'll map out its territory. After that, we'll untangle its pretty devious life cycle, see the damage it can do, look at how we fight back, and finally, we'll check out what's new in the world of research. Okay, first up, a parasite's profile. Let's pull back the curtain on this organism and find out exactly what it is we're dealing with. So a really key thing to know is that Leishmania panamensis is a protozoan. That just means it's a single-celled organism. It's not a worm or anything complex like that. It's also an endoparasite, and this is crucial because it means it has to live inside its host's body, inside our very cells, to survive. It's not like an ectoparasite, like a tick, that just hangs out on the outside. And here's a look at its scientific family tree. You can see it belongs to the family Trypanosomatidae. Now, a really defining feature of this group is something called the kinetoplast. It's this unique bundle of DNA inside its powerhouse, its mitochondrion. It's totally essential for the parasite's survival, and it's often what scientists look for in diagnostic tests. And this is where that classification gets really important for us. Being part of the Vienia subgenus, well, that's not just a label. It's basically a warning sign. These species are infamous for causing a particularly nasty, disfiguring version of the disease called mucocutaneous leishmaniasis. So let's see how this all connects as we move into our next section, the global hot zones. We're going to map out this parasite's favorite hangouts. So as we said, Leishmania panamensis is a major problem in Panama, but its turf covers the humid rainforests all through Central and South America, especially in places like Colombia and Costa Rica. It's what we call a zoonotic disease, which just means it's mostly circulating in wildlife. And its main reservoir, the animal that keeps the whole infection cycle going, is the two-toed sloth. This chart gives you a quick snapshot of its global footprint. In Panama, it's hyperendemic, meaning it's constantly present at a really high rate. But then you look at a country like the Netherlands, and there it's a non-endemic, imported disease. Cases only pop up because of global travel, tourism, military deployments, and that poses a real diagnostic challenge for doctors who are thousands of miles from its home in the rainforest. Which brings us right to the heart of its biology, its incredibly devious life cycle. Let's break down exactly how this thing infects us and spreads. Here it is, the whole story in one picture. It's a digenetic life cycle, which is a fancy way of saying it's a complex dance that requires two different hosts, a tiny sandfly and a mammal. And get this, the parasite has to completely change its form to survive in each of these totally different environments. Okay, let's walk through it. It all starts when a sandfly bites an infected animal and sucks up cells full of those little amastigotes. Inside the fly's gut, they transform into a swimming form called a promastigote, which has a tail-like flagellum. Then, when that infected fly bites a human, it injects these swimming promastigotes into our skin. Our immune cells, the macrophages, rush in to eat them. But that's exactly what the parasite wants. It's a Trojan horse. Once inside our cells, it transforms back into the amastigote form, multiplies like crazy, bursts the cell open, and then goes on to infect more cells. And this slide just shows those two faces of the parasite perfectly. On the left, you've got the mobile promastigotes from the sandfly with that long flagellum they use to swim around. And on the right, you see the small, round amastigotes, which are basically built for one thing, hiding and multiplying inside our cells. Two different forms for two very different jobs. So what happens when this whole cycle plays out inside a person? Well, that brings us to our next section, the body under attack, the human cost of infection. The classic sign is that skin lesion we mentioned, a sore that develops a raised border and a crater in the middle, kind of like a tiny volcano. But Leishmania panamensis doesn't always stay in one spot. It can actually travel through the lymphatic system, creating a whole chain of new sores. And in its most feared form, it can spread to the nose and mouth, causing this devastating destruction of tissue known as aspendia. Now here is a wild plot twist. It turns out some of these parasites have their own infection, a virus called LRV1 living inside them. So when our immune system kills a parasite that's carrying this virus, the virus gets released. And this triggers an absolutely massive, over-the-top inflammatory reaction from our own body, which makes the disease way worse and even makes treatment more likely to fail. It's literally a parasite within a parasite situation. So how in the world do we fight back against something so complex? Let's move into Section 5, Fighting an Invisible Foe, Diagnosis, Treatment, and Prevention. Well, diagnosis often starts with taking a tissue sample and trying to spot those AM mastigotes under a microscope. But there might not be many to find, so the real gold standard now is a super sensitive molecular test called PCR. It basically hunts for the parasite's unique DNA. And treatment has come a long way too. We've moved on from older, pretty toxic IV drugs to modern pills like miltefosine, which is often the first choice for those imported cases we see in places like the Netherlands. Right now, there's no vaccine for humans, so prevention is everything. And it all boils down to avoiding that sandfly bite. That means staying inside from dusk till dawn when the flies are most active, using good insect repellent, wearing long sleeves and pants, and sleeping under a treated bed net. They're simple steps, but they are incredibly effective. Finally, let's look to the future. Our last section is the next chapter in research, and what's on the horizon in this fight. And this is really exciting. Just in 2024, researchers announced a massive breakthrough. They created a new mouse model for Leishmania panamensis. Now, why is that such a big deal? Because for the first time, it gives scientists a reliable, repeatable way to study the disease and, most importantly, to test the next generation of vaccines and drugs before they ever get to human trials. This is an absolute game changer. Just so you know, all the information for this explainer was compiled using a Gemini deep search. If you want to go even deeper into the science yourself, we've put together a full list of all our sources for you in the linked Notebook LM document. And all of this brings us to a final thought. We've seen how a parasite from a rainforest in Central America can easily show up in a clinic in Europe. It really makes you wonder, in a world that's as connected as ours, can we really say any disease is truly foreign anymore? And that's all for this explainer. If you found this interesting, please subscribe to our channel for more deep dives like this one. We'd honestly love to hear what you think, so please leave your feedback and any questions you have in the comments below. Thanks for watching.